So you've completed your first 5K and are thinking about running your first 10K. Maybe you are wondering how you can step it up to this distance and you would like some advice to help you get started. Hi, I'm Shannon and I help moms reach their running goals. I will be discussing how to step it up to a 5K to a 10K distance. We'll be discussing training with you and the mindset that you need to complete your first 10K. Maybe you have completed your first 5K and now you are just wanting some guidance on how to step it up to the 10K. Maybe you have completed several 5Ks and are just needing a new challenge. First of all, it is important to set a goal or an end goal. I recommend that you sign up for a 10K race and at least give yourself 6 weeks of training. Because you completed your first 5K in a certain amount of time doesn't necessarily mean that you can double that time and expect that to be your 10K time. So maybe you can run a 5K in 30 minutes. Don't necessarily expect it's going to take you an hour. There are many different factors that go into that. You can use your 5K time to possibly help you determine an estimated time that you can complete your 10K. If you run a 10K, it's expected that you're probably going to run each mile about at least 30 seconds slower than you would in a 5K. It's just natural to kind of slow down as the distance goes on. My recommendation to you when you run your first 10K race or any other distance that you run is just to complete it the first time, just so you have a guideline to go by of when you could possibly predict how fast you could run your next race. Let's talk about rest and recovery. Make sure you are warming up and cooling down before and after your run. The warm-up gets you prepared for running, warm your muscles up, and get you physically and mentally prepared for your run. Don't skip the cool down either, because it is important to get your heart rate gradually back down to resting heart rate levels. It also helps your muscles to recover and helps prevent injury. As far as rest days go, make sure that you plan them in your schedule. At least take one rest day a week off from running, at least. If you are worried about an injury or you're more of a beginner, you still could easily train for a 10K and 3 days a week of running. The importance of rest days in your schedule is to get the proper rest, recovery, and it helps you adapt to your training. So as far as training goes, I recommend doing one long run per week, such as a Saturday. Remember that you should do no more than 10% increase each week when you are building up your endurance. And when you are doing your long run, make sure it is in an easy pace, because the whole point of the long run is to build endurance. Pace will come as you build up your endurance and get used to that distance of running. When you are running your easy long run, you want to make sure you can comfortably talk at a conversational pace. That would be a good guideline as you do a long run. Let's talk about your pace and your speed. Maybe you're a more experienced runner and you've been running 5Ks and you've been doing some speed work. You want to take your running to the next distant level of a 10K. You can add some speed work in your weekly schedule. If you are just starting some speed work, here's an example of a speed work workout that you can do. You could run 1 minute at your goal race pace for the 10K. You can recover by doing an easy pace for 1 minute. And then you can alternate that several times. And then as time goes on, you can do 2 minutes at race pace, then 3 minutes, then 4 minutes, with a 1 minute rest in between. Another example of speed work that you can do is you can do strides after your run. Do 4 to 6 strides after your run to help you build up speed with a walking or jogging break in between each stride. Expect to do at least 3 runs per week if you are training for a 10K. So one run could be a speed work session, another run could be an easy run, and then you can do a long run on one of those days. On your recovery days between your runs, you can either completely take the day off and rest, or you can do cross training, swimming, biking, yoga, strength training, any type of activity like that. And when you do increase your distance, you might want to think about at least taking some water with you. You want to make sure you stay hydrated during your longer runs. Let's talk about mindset. Every runner has a bad day every once in a while. If you're struggling with mindset and you are just not motivated to run, my suggestion for you would be to listen to some music or a podcast or run with a friend, or you could even have a friend bike by you to help keep you motivated. Sometimes just the comfort of having somebody with you can really help distract your mind and help you get the distance in. And when you are training and you are building up endurance, don't be afraid to walk. It is okay to take walk breaks. The most important thing is just to be able to complete the distance. Even if you are walking, you are still building up your endurance. Here are some race day tips when you get to your 10K race. Make sure that you are eating nothing new on. Make sure that you aren't eating new foods on race day. Because if you are not used to a certain amount of food, you don't know how it's going to interact with your digestive system. And that really can cause tummy troubles and bathroom issues, and you want to avoid those at all costs. And remember, when you are running your first 10K, try to relax and enjoy the experience. And during the race, make sure that you don't start off too fast. You need to pace yourself. It is actually better to start off slower and then build up your speed as the race goes on. And after the race, make sure you celebrate your accomplishment of completing your first 10K. If you are wanting to complete your first 10K, make sure you check out my free guide linked down below. It's a 6-week training program that's going to help you build up to the endurance so you can complete the race. If you haven't completed your first 10K yet, I highly recommend you try to complete your first 5K. And I also have a video about that, and I also have a free guide about it too. So make sure you check those out, and they will all be linked in the description below. So good luck on your first 10K, and see you next time.